I never dreamed that on the eve of the wedding, my fiancé and my nephew were hit by my mother and me at the entrance of the wedding car. They drove over without saying a word and repeatedly crushed my mother. I was pushed away by my mother and luckily saved my life, but I lost my memory and forgot everything. When I woke up, my fiancé had married my nephew, and my childhood sweetheart Liu Ruyan held the dashcam and said that I lost control and killed my mother. Facing the police's questioning, I cried and confessed. On the day I was released from prison after 3 years in prison, Liu Ruyan proposed to me with a rose. I was grateful for his loyalty for 3 years and agreed happily. In the 5th year after marriage, I accidentally heard his conversation with a psychologist. Ruyan, you cut off his sins with your own hands. You made him lose his memory for 3 years on the eve of the wedding. The suffering in prison also convicted him of killing his own mother. Why did you torture him like this? He called out Jibo's name in his nightmare last night. I'm not afraid of 10,000, but I'm afraid that he might remember me and I can't take any risks. So I'll help you test it today. If there is nothing unusual, let him go. If not, increase the dosage of the medicine. From today on, perform deep hypnosis on him every other day, and suggest that it is off. In the tight crack of the door, Liu Ruyan's face like a savior flickered. I can't marry Jibo to protect her for life, so I can only be happy in this way. Psychologist Zhao Wan shook her head and sighed helplessly. I really don't understand. What's wrong with your so-called love for Yi Fan? You want to torture him like this? He was already severely depressed when he was released from prison. I finally made him better, but he always hurt himself. Are you going to let him go back to hell again? You are clearly forcing him to die. Liu Ruyan lost her patience when she saw her friend making all kinds of excuses. If it weren't for me, the golden hand who saved his life, he and his mother would have been buried alive. With my life-saving grace, it's not hard to go to hell. Besides, his mother died because of him. If he really didn't want to live, he could have committed suicide in prison. Why would I have to do that? Zhao Wan was stunned. Didn't you rush to marry him? No one forced you. If I don't marry him, will he remember the truth one day and go to Jibo to fight? He might as well die on my operating table. Even if he can't remember the past, these cold-blooded words are enough to make my blood freeze. God knows how painful I have been for killing my mother in the past 8 years. Whenever I think of the bloody scene, I wish I could chop myself into meat paste to atone for my mother's sin. Liu Ruyan couldn't stand Zhao Wan's eyes, as if she was looking at a monster. She rubbed her eyebrows in annoyance. Don't look at me like that. I'm innocent in my true love. If Yi Fan and his mother hadn't suddenly appeared, Jibo wouldn't have been so scared that he went to look for them. Zhao Wan took a deep breath and stood up to leave. I won't help you anymore. I really can't watch him struggle between death and love again and again. I can't look at his self-harm scars all over his arms with cold eyes. Liu Ruyan stopped him and sneered. Don't be so hypocritical. You have been an accomplice from the beginning. What's the difference between you and me? If you don't help me at most, I will go to your notorious senior brother at a high price. With his help, I won't have any worries. It's nothing more than being blackmailed by him at any time. But what I lack the least is money. Zhao Wan was so angry that her face turned red. If you go to him, it means forcing Yi Fan to die. I can help you. But if one day he remembers everything and fights with you, you can only wish you good luck. Liu Ruyan suddenly laughed with tears in her eyes. That's just right. I'm happy to die with him. Anyway, I can't marry the person I love. I'm already a living dead. I can help Jibo solve so many big troubles. I can also die for a good reason. The hot tea in my hand spilled into the water because of the trembling, but I didn't feel any pain at all. I tried my best to suppress the anger in my chest and slowly returned to the bedroom by holding the wall. Looking at the dense knife marks on my arm, I was so heartbroken that I couldn't breathe. It turned out that the savior who led me out of the abyss was the devil who made me step by step towards the endless hell. Liu Ruyan saved me just to let me die for her sweetheart. It's ridiculous that I am still grateful to her. And I am even more grateful to Mei Jibwa, my only relative. The water cup exploded in my hand because of anger, and my hands were covered with blood in an instant. Liu Ruyan heard the sound and rushed over from the study immediately. Yi Fan looked at the blood gushing out of my palm and hurried to get gauze to stop the bleeding. Yi Fan, please let yourself go. If you are really sad, you can take it out on me. Her eyes were heartbroken, and I couldn't tell whether the truth I just heard was true or false. But the pain in my wrist clearly reminded me that she was acting. She knew that I loved her and couldn't bear to hurt her at all, but she still said so deliberately, so that I can blame myself more for making her worry. Ruyan, my mother died so tragically. Should the person who killed her go to hell? Liu Ruyan misunderstood me and wanted to hug me tightly while trembling. Yi Fan, you have already atoned for your mother's sins. You should be happy for the rest of your life. If you die, what should I do? Thanks to her, there is no happiness in my life. She hates me. She struggles in the abyss of pain all the time. She hates me to die, but I can't die. My life is exchanged for my mother's life. Even if I get hurt again, Liu Ruyan insists on letting Zhao Wan perform deep hypnosis on me. The familiar suggestion makes me recall the pain over and over again. But this time it was no longer me who was sitting in the driver's seat and driving madly to crush my mother. I finally saw the man's face clearly. It was Mei Shibua. The hypnosis was over. Zhao Wan looked at my tearful face and finally couldn't bear it. He wanted to say something. When Liu Ruyan ordered me to leave, she went to the kitchen to prepare dinner as usual, but I didn't miss it. She added medicine to my bowl of soup. The warm dinner that made me feel happy in the past was like a poison that penetrated my intestines at this moment. Liu Ruyan picked up the bowl of medicine containing soup as usual and blew it carefully to the right temperature. This moment his phone rang. And I was rear-ended. Will I die? Liu Ruyan spilled all the soup in her hand on the table. There was panic and fear on her face that I had never seen before. Don't be afraid, chicken neck, I'll be there soon. He left in such a hurry that he didn't even bother to drug me again. I retracted my gaze and poured all the food into the trash can. On Mei Shibua's birthday for the first time, I opened Liu Ruyan's. The basement that I was never allowed to enter was his laboratory. There was a computer next to the laboratory table and a safe, which made me feel that there were secrets inside. It was still Mei Shibua's birthday, and I successfully unlocked the computer. In addition to the experimental records, there were only thousands of photos of Mei Shibua. Over the years, he had taken so many handsome photos of him under my nose in the name of taking me out to relax. I took out my mobile phone and the tourist photos he took for me were as perfunctory as they could be. What shocked me even more was that his safe actually contained many small clay figurines. I didn't know that Liu Ruyan's hands that saved the dying and the wounded could pinch such lifelike eyebrow muscles. The handsome little clay figurines, each one looked at me directly as if they were alive, and gradually, they overlapped with the hideous Mei Shibua in my mind. My head was attacked by severe pain, and my heart was like a knife. I trembled and opened a diary. The cover said 10,000 little things I did for Shibua. The first thing was to remove my the night before the crime. The second thing was to give my mother's ashes to Mei Shibua, and let him pour them into the sewer. The third thing was to bribe my cellmate and pretend to be my mother to blame me in the middle of the night, making my depression more and more serious. The fourth thing was to marry me. The most recent thing was to let the psychologist hypnotize me deeply again. Liu Ruyan really took great pains for her sweetheart. I looked through his computer and diary, but I couldn't find any evidence to prove the truth of the year. I took a picture of his ambiguous activation and restored everything to its original state. I left the basement and just locked the door when Liu Ruyan called me. I didn't answer her and sent a message to Yi Fan, come to the hospital quickly. Shibua had an accident during the operation, and urgently needed a blood transfusion. If I didn't know the truth with my love for my nephew Mei Shibua, I would rush to the hospital without hesitation. But now I won't be stupid again and ignore Liu Ruyan. I put a tub of warm water in to soak myself, but my whole body was still cold. Mom tied those things that meant redemption, the scar of sin. My heart ached. If my mother knew that I tortured myself like this, she would be so distressed. I was immersed in pain and didn't notice that Liu Ruyan had returned home. She opened the door and rushed into the bathroom, pulling me up with force. It was already so late, and I still had the mind to take a bath. Come with me to the hospital to donate blood for Jibo. It's a half-hour drive from the hospital to home, but he actually rushed back in 10 minutes. He had the time to come back to me to donate blood, which only means that Jibo's condition is not urgent. I pulled my hand away. Can't you just use the blood bag from the hospital? Why do you have to let me go? It was you who donated blood to Jibo last time, and it would be better to use you this time. I suddenly remembered that among the 10,000 little things he did for Mei Jibo, one of them was to make me his blood bag. I took medicine which was not suitable, but Liu Ruyan didn't care. Your medicine has been stored for half a year, and has expired long ago. It doesn't affect the blood draw. Is it because he has replaced my sleeping pills with vitamins a long time ago, which doesn't affect it? The blood draw is self-explanatory, but I was unwilling to give up and couldn't help but blurt out. How do you know it's expired? What if the remaining medicine causes harm to Makibo? I looked at him steadily, expecting his answer, but he just looked at me mysteriously. What's wrong with you today? Don't you usually love your nephew Jibwa? He asked as a matter of course, completely forgetting that it was he who had someone brainwash and hypnotize me, so I treated Makibo, the murderer of my mother, as my savior. Seeing that I didn't say anything, he hurriedly put clothes on me and pulled me out. He also forgot that I went to the cemetery to worship my mother yesterday, and after I came back I had a high fever as usual. After waking up from the nightmare I cut my wrist again. If he hadn't bandaged me in time, I'm afraid I would have to go to the hospital again. Whether I took the medicine or not, my body was not suitable for donating blood at the moment, but Liu Ruyan didn't give me any chance to struggle. When we arrived at the emergency room, he ordered the nurse to hold me down and personally gave me a drawing blood. It was not easy to find blood vessels under those numerous scars, but I lost a lot of blood last night and there was no blood before a bag was full. Liu Ruyan kept squeezing my blood vessels with her hands, but unfortunately not much could be squeezed out. My skin was rubbed red by him, but it was still no use. He changed his arm and coaxed me while drawing blood, saying, "Husband, since Jibwa saved you, can we get 2 full bags of blood for him? You always say that he saved me. Can you tell me how he saved me?" I used to believe everything Liu Ruyan said, and I was extremely averse to the scene of my mother's accident, so I never asked her about it. Today was the first time I took the initiative to mention the painful past. Her hand trembled, and the needle almost went off the target. "It's all in the past, let's not mention it, otherwise you will be sad and I will feel distressed." I couldn't help but laugh. Her distress was what made Zhao Wan hypnotize me countless times. making me deeply trapped in those painful scenes and unable to get out of it. Looking at the blood as it entered the blood bag little by little, my heart was completely chilled. Since he saved my life, I should regard it as repaying a debt. As he wished, he took the blood bag and rubbed my head lovingly. Husband, drink some brown sugar water and wait for me here. I will come to accompany you after Jibo's operation is over. He couldn't wait to leave. He lost too much blood and felt dizzy. Drinking a glass of brown sugar water didn't help. In a daze, a familiar voice woke me up. Aunt, it's a good thing you saved me, otherwise I might really die today. Jibo, as long as I'm alive, nothing will happen to you. What's wrong with Zhao Xueqiong, this damn girl, that she wants to quarrel with you? Mei Jibo was immediately angry. He had a one-night stand behind my back. We had a quarrel and I ran away, but we ended up breaking up by car. This is unreasonable. I will go and teach Zhao Xueqiong a lesson for you. Sister Ruyan, I know you have been fond of me for a long time. Since Zhao Xueqiong dared to betray me, I will also cheat on her. Mei Shibua is indeed a veteran. He changed his words so smoothly in a flash. More fragments of memory poured into his mind. In the constantly vibrating wedding car, he panted and called Zhao Xueting, the future aunt. As the bed curtains trembled, I saw Mei Jibua hooking Liu Ruyan's neck and kissing her. Unexpectedly, Liu Ruyan pushed Mei Jibua away, but Mei Jibua was immediately unhappy. Sister Ruyan, if you don't help me vent my anger, then I will just find a woman. Anyway, I can't let Zhao Xueqiong, this woman, have an easy time. The anger in Liu Ruyan's eyes instantly turned into lust. The two kissed passionately, but because Mei Shibua was injured, he treated her as carefully as a rare treasure. My heart, which was numb with pain, was torn again. I picked up my phone and took a picture of them entangled together. The same means could easily make the woman who should have belonged to me fall in love with her. The two tossed until midnight before stopping. After Liu Ruyan left, Mei Shibua suddenly opened the curtains. I heard his flushed mockery. You still go with you are still as incompetent as before, unable to even keep a woman. I just beckoned my finger, and your wife can't help herself. If you lose her, you'd better leave the house, otherwise don't blame me for being rude. I haven't even found him to fight with, but he took the initiative to provoke me. The anger swept me. I got up and pinched his neck, but he didn't fight back and screamed. Uncle, are you having a nightmare again? I am Jibo. Looking at his face, more memories came back. As he ran over my mother with his car again and again in my mind, I used more and more force. Made Jibo go to hell, but the next second I was kicked to the ground by a huge force. The anger in Liu Ruyan's eyes was like a sword, wanting to cut me into pieces. Yifan, what are you crazy about again? This is Jibo, how dare you attack him? He touched the bruises on Mei Jibo's neck distressfully, with a tenderness on his face that I had never seen before. In order to prevent me from going crazy again, he ordered the nurse to bring a tranquilizer. Yifan, you killed someone and you can't tell reality and dreams, but you shouldn't bully Jibo considering that you are sick. You should apologize to Jibo, and let this matter go. I lay powerlessly on the hospital bed, looking at him with ridicule in my eyes. Who is Liu Ruyan, who killed someone and who is bullying others? His pupils trembled slightly, and there was a flash of guilt in his eyes, but the next second he called Zhao Wan to come over. The hospital hypnosis has been too many times, so I know very well how to deceive Zhao. Liu Ruyan saw me in tears, and took me into her arms distressfully, and sent me home personally. Just after I got home, Mei Zyber called again, saying that my husband had an emergency in the hospital and I had to go. He was very satisfied with my obedient behavior, and habitually wanted to reward me with a kiss, but I dodged it. Go quickly, the patient is important. He frowned and looked at me for a few breaths, tentatively asked my husband, are you okay? I chuckled and shook my head. Seeing that I was not as strange as before when I was crazy, he finally felt relieved and left without looking back. I took a taxi to the law firm, but the lawyer was after the inquiry. I was told with regret that they could not help me apply for a retrial of the car accident case that year because I had a history of mental illness. Needless to say, this was Liu Ruyan's hands and feet again. My whole body was cold, as if falling into an ice cellar. What kind of love could make Liu Ruyan do this for Mei Jibua? Liu Ruyan did not return all night. I was in a daze and wanted to go to the hospital to die with Mei Jibua, but was stopped by Zhao Wan at the hospital gate. I know you have recovered your memory. Your mother risked her life to save you because she wanted you to be happy. Dr. Zhao, what qualifications do you have to say this? Zhao Wan closed her eyes in pain and said slowly, I'm sorry. In order to make up for my mistake, I can send you away and keep you away from them forever. As she spoke, she handed me an urn. This is your mother's ashes. Take her to where you want to go. Zhao Wanxi understood my confusion and sighed, saying that this is the only thing I have done right. I took the urn and cried uncontrollably. My mother's last words before her death kept echoing in my ears. Advised Yifan, live well, mom hopes you will be happy. When I got home, I packed my belongings and threw everything else related to me into the trash can. The sun rose and it was a new day. I put the suicide note on the table and took my mother away from this home that could be called hell. When I left, Liu Ruyan sent me a message saying, Husband, happy birthday. Jibo and I have prepared a birthday surprise for you. Please come to this address later. Looking at the kissing video sent by Mei Jibo's colleague, I replied to him that I wish you happiness. I compressed and packaged all the evidence of their love, as well as the evidence that Liu Ruyan loved Mei Jibo, into a scheduled email. After Liu Ruyan and Mei Jibo tidied up their clothes for each other, they tacitly waited for my arrival, but he only waited for a call from his colleague. Dr. Liu, I just saw someone who jumped into the sea to commit suicide. He looked very much like your husband. Liu Ruyan listened but didn't care. It's impossible. You must have seen it wrong. Although he has depression, he is reluctant to die. Otherwise, with his own. They are all so painful, but as long as I give him a little warmth and sweetness, he will live with hope. Liu Ruyan's mouth curled up, making Mei Shibo jealous. Sister Ruyan, you want to give me this watch? Thank you, I like it so much. Mei Shibo was sure that as long as he said he liked it, Liu Ruyan would definitely give him this watch, but this time he miscalculated. Liu Ruyan quickly closed the lid and chuckled, saying, "This is a birthday present for your uncle. If you like it, I will find someone to make you a custom one later." Lei Jibwa knew that Liu Ruyan would definitely keep her word, and even give her a watch that would be more expensive than Yi Fan's. But this was the first time that Liu Ruyan was so attentive to Yi Fan. He could not accept Liu Ruyan's sudden affection for Yi Fan, especially since he had physical intimacy with him. "Sister Ruyan, Yi Fan never goes out of the house. Is it worth it for you to buy him such an expensive gift? You might as well give me this watch, and then give him a small gift as before." It was enough to make him happy for many days. Mei Shibwa's words made Liu Ruyan a little stunned. He realized that this was the first time he prepared such a high-end gift for Yi Fan. If Yi Fan received it, he would definitely be very happy. Ignoring the deep hypnosis that was coming every other day, he refused Mei Shibwa's request again without thinking. Everything he did was for Mei Shibwa's good. Now it was just a watch. He thought he would understand. However, Mei Shibwa was not as obedient and sensible as he wished. He shook Liu Ruyan's arm and pouted his lips as before, saying, "I like this watch. Sister Ruyan, just give it to me." Mei Shibwa used to call herself Little Aunt, but now this voice of Sister Ruyan was inexplicably harsh to her ears. "Don't make trouble, Jibwa, your uncle will be here soon. You are so disrespectful. What a shame." Mei Jibwa's eyes suddenly turned red and he felt extremely aggrieved. Half an hour had passed since the agreed time, but Yi Fan had not come yet. Liu Ruyan could not see Mei Jibwa grievance after making several calls and no one answered. He looked at the door of the private room, feeling inexplicably uneasy. Suddenly his mobile phone received an email, and seeing that the sender was Yi Fan, he was a little stunned. Why would Yi Fan send him an email? He clicked on the email and saw the photos and videos I sent. The box in his hand fell to the ground with a clatter. What is this? He grabbed Mei Jibwa, and his face no longer had the tenderness he showed towards a rare treasure. Mei Jibwa glanced at the screenshot of his message and didn't feel that he was wrong at all. "Sister Ruyan, you and I have been entangled in love. Don't you understand my feelings in the middle of the night? Although Yi Fan is my uncle, how can he compare to me? He is a waste who loves to commit suicide and win your attention. Aren't you tired of sleeping with him yet? What's more, he is a murderer. What virtue do he have to deserve your kindness to him?" Liu Ruyan never thought that such words would come out of Mei Shibwa's mouth. It was his bastard who hurt Yi Fan, but Mei Shibwa was the real murderer. How could he, a vested interest, have the nerve to say such words? He pushed Mei Shibwa away and said, "You and I only made a mistake in a moment of confusion. We both have families. Don't mention this matter again. Don't even think of using this reason to make me divorce your uncle." No matter because of his own identity, or because of the inexplicable feelings, or for Mei Jibwa, he could not accept that Yi Fan was out of his control. He called me several more times and finally got through. However, when he heard that the person who answered the phone was a strange girl, he was furious. "Who are you, my husband? Why is the phone with you?" "Hello, this is the phone I picked up on the beach." Hearing this, Liu Ruyan suddenly thought of what her colleague said about the phone call of the person who jumped into the sea and committed suicide. She was extremely panicked and uneasy. She murmured anxiously, "It's impossible, it's definitely impossible. Yi Fan can't really." She asked for the address and was about to look for me, but Majibo held her back. It was impossible for Yi Fan, Sister Ruyan, to commit suicide. If he wanted to die, he would have died long ago. Why would he wait until today? But Liu Ruyan knew how much I loved him. Now I know that he loved Majibo from the beginning to the end, but he was being intimate with Majibo beside me. He didn't dare to think whether I would completely give up my life because of this. He rushed to the scene with hope. Because of the remote location, there were few witnesses. There was only a drone that took a video of me jumping into the sea. Looking at the video of me jumping into the sea that had become popular on the internet, Liu Ruyan was stunned. Even though the video was not clear, he recognized it at a glance. The man really looked like me. Coupled with the phone I deliberately lost, he was almost certain that the person who was swept away by the sea it was me, but he didn't want to believe this cruel fact. He ran a red light all the way home, and his heart stopped beating the moment he opened the door. He had only been away from home for one night, but the house was surprisingly empty. He called my name and searched all the rooms, but couldn't find any trace of me. Instead, there was no trace of me in the house. He felt like the sky had fallen. When he saw the suicide note on the dining table, he trembled violently. "Yi Fan, you won't abandon me, you won't." But the familiar handwriting made Liu Ruyan's face pale. "Liu Ruyan, goodbye, never see you again." Yi Fan's last words were just a few words, but they had already made Liu Ruyan feel so painful that her heart was as if someone had pulled her up hard, and even breathing was painful. He trembled with his hands and fell to the ground weakly. "Yi Fan, I was wrong." He never thought that this hypnosis would fail. He called Zhao Wan, furious. "Zhao Wan, did you do this on purpose? Didn't I ask you to turn the intimacy between Majibo and I into that between Yi Fan and I when you were deeply hypnotized? Why did he remember it after he woke up?" Zhao Wan suddenly sneered, "If you don't want others to know, then don't do it. He loves you so much, isn't it normal that hypnosis failed?" Another short sentence, and Liu Ruyan was devastated. "I took my mother's ashes and started to travel around the mountains and rivers according to our old agreement. Every time I went to a new place, my heart was more peaceful. The most painful thing for me was that I always believed that I was guilty of killing my mother. I could hardly forgive my impulse when I woke up in the middle of the night. But now when I think of everything, think of my mother's expectations before she died, I no longer blame myself. I thought I faked my death to leave Liu Ruyan. I would feel at ease and be with Mei Jibo, but I didn't expect that she would spend a lot of money to look for my body." He said that he wanted to see me alive or dead. I traveled abroad for 2 months and he never gave up. He even became a good wife, praised by the whole network for his affectionate obedience. When I saw the news, I just felt inexplicably ironic. When he was alive, he was afraid that I would look for Mei Jibo, and he tried his best to make me immersed in pain and unable to rest day and night. I pretended to die and chose to fulfill their wishes and let myself go, but he refused. I didn't understand why he had to look for me, but I didn't take him to heart until I accidentally appeared in the camera of an internet celebrity. I was recognized by netizens in the internet celebrity's live broadcast room. Why does this man look so much like Dr. Liu's husband? Liu Ruyan Xuanfu had already put my photo online, so this sentence is like, the water poured into the frying pan instantly attracted enthusiastic netizens to work together to help. After everyone reached a unanimous conclusion, they quickly tagged Liu Ruyan, who was looking for her husband. Dr. Liu, we found your husband. He is not dead and is now abroad. By the time I knew that I was dug out, it was too late. When Liu Ruyan stood in front of me, I couldn't believe it, but the haggard and vicissitudes of life woman in front of me was indeed him. Yifan, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Majibo and I are not what you see. I admit that I did like him before, but after marrying you, the person I loved from beginning to end was you. Fortunately, you are still alive, otherwise I don't know how I would live. His shamelessness left me dumbfounded. I thought he would be full of resentment when I saw him again, but I looked at him calmly, without a trace of fluctuation in my heart. Liu Ruyan just acted as I'm already dead. Why don't you let me go? Why do you come to disturb my peaceful life now? Or will you be unhappy without me as a tool to please Makibo? Liu Ruyan was sweating anxiously and explained incoherently, Yifan was not like that. I realized too late that I had already fallen in love with you. I was wrong about those things in the past. Please give me a chance to make up for it, okay? I refused coldly. Only after leaving you did I know that I could live a good life without nightmares, without the pain that trapped me. Liu Ruyan's eyes were a little shaken. Yifan, you didn't jump into the sea and be rescued. He reacted quickly and realized in an instant that I was faking my death. Yifan, you loved me so much. I was the only courage and reason for you to survive. How could you have the heart to fake your death and leave me? I don't know how he faced so much evidence, but still had the... You blamed me for leaving. Shouldn't you know the reason why I left? Or did you want to trick me back and let Zhao Wan perform deep hypnosis on me, so that I would still believe that I was a murderer who killed my mother? Or maybe Dr. Liu has another good way to erase all my memories. All of Liu Ruyan's words were suddenly stuck in her throat. Her already haggard face became paler as paper. She wanted to explain, but she didn't know how to explain. In the end, she just asked me with stammering lips. I remember Yifan. I looked at him calmly and said slowly, not only do I remember, I also know that you took away my sin with your own hands. The night before last, you hypnotized me to make me lose my memory. I took the blame for Mei Ziber. Liu Ruyan's eyes were full of panic and self-blame. She knelt down in front of me in pain. I'm sorry, Yifan, I don't know how I used to be. How could he be so cruel to you and do these things? Just treat me as Zhao Xueqiong and I, who were bewitched by Mei Shibua and betrayed you. Can you not pursue Mei Shibua's guilt? Can you also let go of everything and start over with me? As he said this, he took out a gift box as if to show his favor, and couldn't wait to open it to show me. Look, this is the birthday surprise I prepared for you. Do you like it? The old Yifan would have liked it, but the Yifan who regarded him as the whole world died the moment he knew the truth. I took a step back and slowly recounted the 10,000 little things he had done for Mei Shibua, like treasures. Every time he said one, his face turned paler. Liu Ruyan stopped me from reciting it by heart and covered her face in pain. Crystal liquid flowed out from between her fingers. In the past, I would feel distress for a long time when he frowned, but now seeing him in pain, he looked like he was about to cry, but I just felt bored. He raised his eyes and tried to find something in my eyes, but after searching for a long time, he did not find the love he expected, nor even the hatred. This discovery made the starlight in his eyes when he first saw me shatter and finally disappear. Yifan, I know I was wrong. I dare not ask you to forgive me, but I am really worried about you being alone outside. Come home with me, and I will treat you well for the rest of my life. I suddenly lost the desire to talk to him. After I turned and left, Liu Ruyan hurriedly got up and chased me. When he grabbed my arm, the disgusting touch made me slap him in the face with my backhand. Liu Ruyan, you really make me sick. Are you blind? Can't you see that I am only truly alive when I leave you? If you really feel sorry for me, just disappear from my life. World, he slowly turned his face that was hit crooked, his eyes full of pain. Yifan, now I finally understand how painful it is for you every time you are hypnotized and relive your mother's tragic death. In the 2 months since I lost you, I have been experiencing this lover-like pain every minute. He suddenly lifted up his sleeves, and I saw that his arms were covered with shocking scars. I looked at those bright red wounds that had not yet fully recovered, and I just found it funny. You don't think that if you show me these, I will forgive you? Liu Ruyan hurriedly shook her head. Yifan, that's not what I meant. I wanted to tell you that I really know I was wrong, but not all mistakes can be forgiven. He instantly understood my thoughts as if he saw hope and hurriedly spoke. Yifan, I know what to do. I will get everything back on the right track. You wait for me. He couldn't wait to call. I contacted Zhao Wan to prove that I was not mentally ill, and then contacted the lawyer from that year to apply for a retrial for my mother's car accident case. I don't know what he said. His face was full of anger. No matter how much money he asked, he must bring Mei Jibua to justice. But the lawyer said that the evidence was conclusive and the statute of limitations had passed, so there could be no retrial. Liu Ruyan begged me to return to China with him. Yifan, come back with me. I will give you and your mother justice. I shook my head and refused. He is no longer worthy of my trust. I don't know what trap is waiting for me when I return to China. After all, he loves Mei Jibua so much. If he just likes someone simply, it is impossible to do this for another person. Liu Ruyan's face was hurt after being rejected by me. She looked at me deeply, as if staring at the love of her life. Yifan, then. You wait for me here, give me half a month, I will make everything back on track. She bought a plane ticket to leave me, and also bought a plane ticket and took her mother to the next destination. I didn't want him to continue using netizens to find me, so I directly posted all kinds of evidence of his cheating on the internet. His beloved wife Sharimata, and even Zhao Wan came out in person to apologize to me in front of many netizens. Yi Fan, I'm sorry I didn't respond to his apology, so he took the initiative to help me and called on netizens not to expose my whereabouts again. Netizens cursed Liu Ruyan to death and helped me erase traces on the internet. When Liu Ruyan went to Mei Shibua to ask him to surrender, Mei Shibua thought that Liu Ruyan was out of his mind. Liu Ruyan, are you kidding me? Yi Fan killed his mother himself. Why should I surrender? Liu Ruyan sneered and asked him, do you really think that if I help you clean up the mess you can escape punishment? Since I have helped you get away with it for 8 years, I will punish you myself. He unexpectedly took out a knife and stabbed it fiercely into Mei Jibua's abdomen. Mei Jibua never thought that Liu Ruyan would do this to him. He even invited Zhao Wan, the notorious senior brother, to find a way to make him suffer and despair. Liu Ruyan did not send Mei Jibua to prison, but spent a lot of money to make him live in pain every day. Mei Jibua has been spoiled since he was a child. He has never suffered this kind of mental and physical torture. However, he became mentally ill in just half a month. After Zhao Xueqiong cheated in front of him, he madly pushed Zhao Xueqiong into the traffic. Liu Ruyan performed surgery on Zhao Xueqiong personally, but the operation failed and he could never stand up again. After Liu Ruyan did all this, she started looking for me frantically again, but after I got the news from Zhao Wan, I dared not have any more entanglement with Liu Ruyan. I took my mother on the road to travel all over the mountains and rivers without stopping. A year later, Liu Ruyan accidentally found my whereabouts, and we met inevitably. She became more and more vicissitudes of life, and her hair was white. In the middle of the night, Fan said, as long as I don't divorce, you will always be my husband. I didn't expect her obsession to be so deep. As long as I don't return to China, he can't do anything to me, but I don't want to be entangled by such a madman, so I can only tell him coldly, Liu Ruyan, can't you let me go? Aren't those 8 years enough to repay your life-saving grace? Do you have to force me into a desperate situation and make me recall the painful past again and again? As long as I see you, those nightmares, the days are lingering. Liu Ruyan looked at my mouth opening and closing, but only a bitter smile was left. She cried while laughing. Yi Fan, I now fully understand how much pain you are in, but I can't hold on without you. After looking at each other for a long time, he didn't show any heartache from me. Yi Fan, can I hug you again just for the last time? I shook my head and refused. His already hunched back collapsed in an instant, and the whole person exuded a dying air like a dying person. I turned around and left without hesitation, and started a new journey with my mother. Half a month later, Zhao Wan told me that Liu Ruyan committed suicide. He left a 10,000-word suicide note, or more precisely, a confession. Zhao Wan asked me if I wanted to come back to see Liu Ruyan off for the last time, and I still chose to refuse. He and I have long been strangers, and there is no need to see each other again. The full text is over.